What the fuck?
He found it. He found it, boys. He
I
found it.
stood by and allowed my wife to almost kill our son. I was happy she did it.
Wait, I think I've heard this story.
You've heard it?
Dude, the son was an absolute degenerate, if I remember correctly. Oh. Well, they aren't toads, they're poplins, but they still wear diapers.
The poplin is really close to looking like a butt plug. Like the hat part is. You know what I mean?
Where are the kinky toads?
I mean, they would tear you up. They're too big.
Says you.
Oh, you can do it that way too?
You're some genius.
Ooh.
That was easy.
That seemed pretty easy. I feel like I should read some Reddit stories or something. Is r/confession or confessions better?
Are they not the same thing?
No. It's two separate subreddits.
I mean, I'm sure they're the same thing.
Should I go back to stripping? Oh, this one's interesting. I think my father is my mother's rapist.
What?
Oh.
That doesn't sound interesting at all.
What do you mean?
I mean, I guess.
I'm imagining, like, the mom, like, in high school or something got raped, right?
Nope!
And then she later got married. And then, like, you know, it turns out the person who raped her in high school was the person she later married. If that isn't a perfect ending...
It seems more likely they were dating and then just raped her. Well, you think if you're dating someone, you need to rape them. For the way, anyone watching this, you don't need to rape anyone. Just to make that clear. There's never a reason to.
What if they're, like, really hot, though?
Oh, that's okay then.
What if they wear a shirt with lots of cleavage? They're asking for
Obviously, they're asking for it.
At that
point, they've already consented this, so it wouldn't be rape.
That's true. It's non-verbal. That's a, you know,
Non-verbal
non-verbal consent. It exists.
Jinx, you owe me a kiss.
Not now. Like, I'm not saying we should kiss, but we probably, you know, we could.
Woo!
I'm addicted to masturbating. How do I stop? That's a Reddit thread, not me, personally.
Is there any negative effects to masturbating a lot? Besides
I mean,
taking up your time, I guess. If you do it so often, you have no time to do anything.
I mean, the whole porn thing warping your mind.
It doesn't necessarily mean you're watching porn.
I mean, alright, I, 20 female, virgin, probably flick the bean about twice a day. The most I've done is probably 5 rounds in a day. This has been going on for about a year at this point. I tried to stop myself from doing it, but after a few days, I do it again. And that's not normal, right?
Go into the comments, and I guarantee you it's going to be, I do it way more.
I'm a male, and it's perfectly natural to masturbate. Whoever told you to stop, don't, unless you want to.
Unless you want to.
The same guy, he's giving tips. When it's interrupting her studies, that's an issue. Masturbate in the morning and before bed. She's at the age where every school kid is horny. Just right in the morning and before bed. It's good enough.
What a degenerate.
What?
What a degenerate. Absolutely disgusting.
Total loser. Masturbates. Never done that. Never will.
What even is cum? I'm a man of the Lord.
I saw it was in like a cookbook. Pretty sure it's a cooking ingredient.
My dad used to feed me it all the time.
I got it straight from the source.
Did I just beat World 3 already? There wasn't even a boss. There's no way I just beat World 3. There's no way. There was no boss. There was no castle. There was no, I got the royal
Do you care
city.
if there was a boss? The bosses are a little trash in this game.
But I mean, that didn't feel like a world. I think there is only 6 worlds, because I'm getting rid of a cloud piranha every single world, and there's only 3 left.
There's only 2 left.
There's 3. 1, 2.
It just
3.
spawned back in.
No, it didn't. It was behind them because it's circling them.
No, because you can see all 3 at once. It was totally gone there for a second. I guarantee it.
Nope, it's gone right now. Oh, there it is again.
Yeah, but I was watching for longer than that. It was gone. Bowser sucked it in to make it purple.
I nibbled on his anus a little bit before it came back around. Yeah, it says there's only 3 more royal seats to go.
How can I choose the order at which these pop up? It's like, I kind of want to, like, I want to read the most popular ones, you know? All-time greatest confessions on r/confessions.
Of all time.
What the fuck?
He found it! He found it, boys! He
I
found it!
stood by and allowed my wife to almost kill our son. I was happy she did it.
Wait, I think I've heard this story.
You've heard it?
Dude, the son was an absolute degenerate, if I remember correctly.
Alright, we about to holy fuck, it's long!
Oh, it's a long one, yeah, it's a long one.
Oh my god! Could turn this in for a final essay. This would reach like a 3,000 word limit. Gee. Okay, fair warning. This one is long as hell. Yeah, I freaking noticed. Apologies for that. But this is very hard for me, and I have been carrying it for a lot of years. On the advice of my therapist, I've written it all out to try and work out my feelings on it. The therapist is like, let me give you a tip. You're going to want to go to r/confessions.
People are going to want to hear about this shit.
Now, I have a, what is it? It's not attorney-client privilege, because that's lawyers. It's something.
I think they have, like,
It's the same thing, but it's like, you know, oh, you're my client, I legally can't tell people about this, or else I'll get disbarred. So you gotta do it yourself. Go on r/confessions. Just write this out. He didn't advise me to submit it to Reddit, of course. Oh, crap. But I have struggled with this for a long time, and I need to hear other people's opinion on it. I still really have no idea how I feel about it, even after all these years, but I will submit for judgment by the masses. I know I did wrong on some things, probably a lot of things. I tried to do my best that I could. I don't like the way this guy writes. There's a lot of like extra words and stuff, and some of them should be swaparooski. They're like in the wrong order.
Dude, he's just rambling. He's not writing an essay. He's rambling about his literal demon of a son.
No typos so far, though. My son was very troubled. Very troubled. If you've seen the movie, We Need to Talk About Kevin, it will really help to understand what I'm talking about. Because I swear to God, when I watched that film, I thought I was watching a documentary of my life. I felt like the writer must have had cameras hidden in my damn house. That's how accurate it was. The only difference in that movie is that in that movie, the boy appears normal to his father and only reveals his true nature to his mother. With my son, he didn't have that mess. His insane behavior was the same with everyone. I'm like 2 paragraphs in, and there's like a dozen paragraphs. From the day he was born, my son just came out wrong. He was planned. My wife and I tried to get pregnant and were ecstatic when he was born. He was wanted and loved. We showered affection on him and really tried to give him a happy childhood. But from the day we brought him home from the hospital, he was miserable. He cried for 13 months straight. I'm not exaggerating. 13 months without a break. He cried until he had no voice left and kept crying. That don't add up. If he had no voice, how was he crying?
Because he's like... Think that little whimper I made is going to show up on
that really got your voice. That really got the point across. I know what he was like now.
You always lose your place every time.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck!
You can see his little face scrunched up and no sounds coming out. Totally hoarse. Okay, I need to stop, like, reading something and go, oh, how is that? That doesn't make sense. I can't believe they did this. And then the next sentence he freaking says what it was. I've done that twice now in just this story. There were times he would literally be crying in his sleep. I've never seen or heard of any other kid able to do that. We brought him to the doctor's specialist. Tried changing his diet, held him, rocked him. Toys, swaddling, music, mobiles, everything we could think of. Nothing worked. 13 months of grating, grinding, no sleep hell.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Once he got over the crying stage, we thought we were out of the woods, but it quickly became clear that for some unknown reason, he was just angry at being alive. I never saw that kid have a genuine, joyous smile once in the time I knew him. I saw him grin a vicious, horrible grin many times, taking a perverse pleasure from causing pain or suffering or breaking rules. But a smile from real pleasure as something nice? No, never. Not once. He had no interest in anything positive. He was fueled by hate, and everything he did was bent towards that. Okay, so there's 2 ways this could go. All right, 3. I'll say 3. So either 1, kid just came out and had like anti-personality disorder or something.
Oh, he had
crazy.
something wrong with him. I'm telling you. And I know the story.
The parents were screwed. 2, parents aren't as good as they think they are, or at least one of them isn't as good as they thought they were. Then the other one doesn't know that they were that bad. You know what I mean? Or 3, the father's way exaggerating. I'm going with the first option.
There's something wrong. Because he'll get into details on what exactly his son does. You know?
Yeah.
Not just
as soon as he could walk, his mission in life was to destroy things. He would break or try to break anything that came in his range, smash it, chew it, throw it in the toilet, whatever he could. After a while, he figured out how to get his diaper off, and took pleasure in shitting and pissing anywhere he could. After a while, he figured out he could hide it, and started pissing and shitting in places we wouldn't find right away, grinding it into carpets, making it even more of a problem to clean, and making the house stank. When he got older, ages 9 to 15, he would piss and shit in our bed until we got a lock on our door. That is an attack.
He wasn't Amber Heard. You know that if he's doing an Amber Heard, you know there's something wrong with him.
Jeez. Okay. Then he'd just take a dump in the hallway in front of our room. That biological warfare started around me too.
Biological warfare.
Started around at 2.5 years old, and he never grew out of it. Oh my god.
What do you mean he never grew out of it? So like even at like 10 he was...
He just said between ages of 9 and 15 he would piss and shit in our bed.
Oh my gosh.
That was not like some toddler barely climbed up in the bed and shitting himself. It was a deliberate attack.
Planned.
It was thought out. Unprovoked. I'll try to speed it up, but as I could literally go on for days about this stuff. But as he grew older, he became more and more unmanageable. He would bite, kick, scream, scratch, spit at anyone trying to do anything to him. He was kicked out of school twice before he was 9, then let him back in, and then kicked him out for good. He had to change schools. The next one put him in a special class that kept him away from the other students. That's just what he needs.
It's just isolation.
For school, you will be in solitary confinement today.
For being a little shitlord. You shit on my desk, you little bastard. I don't get paid enough for this shit.
You pissed in my drink. What the hell is wrong with you? Where was I? Wait.
You really lost your place, huh?
Special plan. We had to install a door and lock on the kitchen because he would steal knives and use them to gouge the walls / furniture or chase people with them.
Such a psychotic.
When he was 10, he stabbed me pretty good in the hip and ass.
I'm sorry, that's like... the way you said, and ass.
That's how he wrote it. I just read it how it's written. I still have the scars. As he grew older, he grew darker. He moved into setting things on fire and torturing local animals. There was a stray dog that hung out around the park near our house. My son blinded it one eye with a barbecue fork.
Oh my gosh.
He would dip cats' tails in gasoline and light them on fire.
Oh wow. That's like the first sign of being a psychopath,
stinking, vicious beast that lived in our house. We couldn't do anything about it. If you haven't picked up on the fact that he's got every single mental disorder in the book, dude's got anti-personality disorder, borderline disorder, histrionic disorder. He's probably got schizophrenia. He's just got it all.
The demons told me to.
Every personality order he could have, I think he got it. That is insane. He became a violent, stinking, vicious beast that lived in our house. We couldn't do anything with him. I will take this opportunity to preempt the tsunami of messages. Yes, we had the kid in fucking therapy. He saw a psychiatrist twice a week, and had God knows how many different medications prescribed to him over the years. Nothing worked. Therapy didn't work. Meds didn't work. Nothing fucking worked. He was a poison cloud of hate and fury, lashing out at anything in his reach. Wow. See,
that's like toxic masculinity, right?
That's like, you know, the old school asylums. This is what they were for. Not for you to drop your girl off because she called you a dick. That's not what the asylums were for.
My wife is talking back to me. Take her to the asylum.
She must be insane. She can't talk back to a man.
Get out of here.
When my son was 16, my wife got pregnant again. I can't tell you how different our reaction was. Instead of joy, we felt horror. This pregnancy had not been planned, and we really... Wait, what? And we really were at a loss over what to do. I lost my place while reading.
You're a great reader.
My son had been such an unending nightmare for 6 years. We couldn't take the idea of starting again from the beginning. We talked a lot about terminating. But A, access to abortion was not easy in those days as it is now. And B, my wife was very against it. We talked about many options. In the end, we decided that my wife would have the baby. And if it turned out evil, we would put it up for adoption. We knew. We just couldn't do it again with another child like our son.
Understandable.
We had a daughter. She was normal. Suddenly we saw what our lives should have been like the whole time. How things would have been had our son not been himself. She laughed at things. She breastfed without biting. Oh, I would kill the child right then and there. The first one...
boobs.
I mean, no, but like, you know, if I did, and the child kept biting my titties, I would have lost it. She didn't have teeth yet, but anyway. But you could tell she was just trying to eat, not tearing her mom's breast off. After 4 months, she was sleeping through the night. She was happy. She was normal. I can't describe the relief and happiness that we both felt. I don't have words for it. Oh my god, I'm not even close to done. This where I believe I may have started really pulling back from my son. Up until that time, whatever mistakes I made, I had always tried to do the best for my son. I am convinced of that. I tried to help him and love him and care for him. I really tried. But when my daughter was born, my wife and I instinctively just turned toward her. She became our focus, not from malice, but just because she was so much easier. And that's a baby. Babies are supposed to be difficult. She was so happy and sweet. Every moment we were with her was like magic. I understand this was wrong, but we honestly couldn't help it. I don't have a better explanation than that. This might take a minute.
He's so apologetic for just like
I know.
not liking his psychopath.
It sounds like he did nothing. He's like, I'm sorry, guys. This was my semen. I can't believe this happened.
My sperm created that monster.
My son hadn't given a shit about my wife being pregnant. I honestly don't even know he really understood it, but when we brought our daughter home, he started acting out even more. How? How is that possible? I don't think it was possible,
Did he pee
but he
on
took
the
it up
baby?
another notch.
He peed on the baby.
Take this, you idiot.
Little bitch.
Just pisses on him. Takes a dump in the crib instead of their bed. But when we brought our daughter home, he started acting out even more. I didn't think it was possible, blah blah blah. But he took it up another notch. At this time he was 17 and we were having blowout screaming matches daily. Usually after we fought, he would storm out of the house and disappear for hours at a time, or come back the next morning. It was a relief. I started to actually look forward to our fights because it would get him away from us for a while. Yo. So the moment this kid turns 18, they just 100% would give him the boot. Which, like, totally understandable. They're probably just waiting for that moment.
Waiting for the day to get that demon out of their home.
After the birth of our daughter, my relationship with my son was almost entirely gone. Our only real interactions were screaming at each other. My wife was even worse with him. She had nothing left by that time. If our son had even came into the same room as her, she would just stop whatever she was doing and start screaming, "Get the fuck away from me, get the away, get the fuck out." Until he left. He started spending more and more time out of the house, which was a blessing for us. I have no idea what he got up to in the world, but we were just happy it wasn't being inflicted on us. How did he not get arrested? I mean, I assume he would just leave the house, light the cat on fire, and punt it into a lake. Like, how did he not...
I'm laughing at you saying that!
How did he not just get arrested?
I don't know, you think he would.
Bro, this thing's so long!
Being a pussy.
As a consequence of our son's behavior, we had invested heavily in locks around our house. All of the cheap, thin interior doors in our homes have been replaced with think. What?
Thick.
No, he wrote think.
It's probably
Think. Thick, dense wood doors that couldn't have been kicked through. Equipped with keyed locks that my wife and I carried keys to. Oh my god. I know it sounds extreme, but locks and heavy doors were the best way that we had found to create a safe space from him. And again, before I am Before I am barraged with messages, I switched the word. I was not locking my son in rooms like a prisoner. He had free reign of the house and could come and go as he pleased. My wife and I would lock ourselves in rooms to protect ourselves from him. If anything, we were the prisoners in our own home. Running out of breath. On the day in question, I had fought with my son in the morning and he had left the house in rage. My wife and I were enjoying some peace and quiet in the kitchen while our daughter napped in our bedroom. And then my daughter began crying. Any parent who has young children can tell you, you get used to your child's cries, and you can tell after a while what they need. They cry differently if they are hungry or need changing or just restless and want to be held. Babies can communicate pretty well before they can speak. This cry was none of those things. This cry was terror. The second we heard it, my wife and I both got up out of our chairs and run into the room. The door was locked, of course, and it had a few seconds to get the right key and get it open. Our son was in the room. We lived in a bungalow, and the bastard had climbed in the window to get her. He was standing over her crib with a steak knife in his hand.
Oh, Lord.
I have no idea where he got it. It wasn't one of ours. We controlled our knives very carefully and always kept them in locked drawers.
Understandable.
I think he may have stolen it from one of our neighbors' houses. He had broken her skin twice already.
He cut the baby?
Once in the belly area and once on her arm. I could see blood running down when I entered the room. He was dragging the back of the knife down her face. Not cutting, almost tickling her with it. Teased her while she screamed. He looked up at us and smiled. Yep, I'd murder him.
That's it. He's dead.
I would murder him. His life would be over so quick. I would kill him with the knife.